Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the newest edition of Dale Center NASCAR Betting. It's our betting preview for the Food City 500 weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway. Behind us, the last great Coliseum for a triple header weekend. The Craftsman Truck Series on Friday night with Truck Night in America. The O'Reilly, I'm going to start calling it, I've declared this in the Discord, I'm tired of calling it O'Reilly Auto Parts, ORAP. It's OGN. Let's spread that. OGN, O'Reilly Grand National Series. That's what it's going to be. OGN. So we got OGN on Saturday evening and then the Cup Series Food City 500 on Sunday afternoon. Great to be back here for a full weekend after the Easter break. Only saw us with O'Reilly and trucks. That was a fun weekend. This is going to be a fun weekend. Now, in terms of betting, it has not been very fun. This has been NASCAR betting Armageddon for me the last month or so. Probably my worst NASCAR betting stretch since 2023. And if you tail my bets, if you subscribe on Dub Club, if you watch Dale Center every week, every other week, see me on Twitter, I'm as transparent as anybody in the industry. Not just in the NASCAR betting industry, but in the scummy world of sports betting in general. And it's been really tough. It's been horrific. I got some later stats, or some stats I'll show you later on a graphic with a little bit of humor involved, but not a lot to laugh about with the losses that I've suffered in the past month. We're basically even on the year. We are in the green, which is impressive, I have to say. With the horrific last month that I have had, I'm still in the green by like a unit or like a half unit or something. So it's been tough. It's been one hell of a slide. We were up 40 units about a month ago and it's been downhill. So hopefully we will rebound. I just got to lock in. I know a lot of people are going to be watching the Masters this weekend, going to take some of the limelight away from Bristol behind us. A lot of people love betting on the Masters, but I do think it's a good opportunity for NASCAR betting with trucks, O'Reilly, and Cup this weekend. So a lot to unpack, and we have a very stacked truck night in America that we're about to get to. But first, you're not going to see a couple guys that I'm going to talk about here on Dale Center Top 10 Plays. There's so many plays that I like this weekend. It almost feels fool's gold-ish, and I hate that feeling because I think there's plenty of analytics. I think there's plenty of eye test. I think there's plenty of momentous narratives that you can throw in with so many different plays this weekend. So two guys that I like that you're not going to see on Top 10 Plays. I love Ty Gibbs and Carson Hocevar. I hate it because I think Hocevar is somewhat fairly priced for an outright for the Cup race. Ty Gibbs, you snooze, you lose. And BetMGM had Cup odds really early last weekend, actually, at Rockingham. And Ty Gibbs opened at 14-1. Then he's around 11-1. Then he's around 10-1. Now the best I see is 9-1. So I do like Ty Gibbs. I've been debating if I want to pull the trigger. I always will debate some of these guys that I feel like I could make an argument for being overpriced given the particular weekend scenario. And the particular weekend scenario for the NASCAR Cup Series is a new tire. We're right back in this fucked up, excuse my French, for only 3 minutes into the episode, but we're right back into this convoluted tire discussion of, are we going to see extreme wear? Is it going to be a nothing burger? I mean, if you watch the two Bristol races in 2025 and the two Bristol races in 2024, they are pure exact opposites of each other because of the tire compound. This time around, to prevent those opposites in the prior 2 years here in the Gen 7 Cup car at Bristol, Goodyear has created a compound that is not temperature dependent, and the temperature discrepancies between the spring and the fall, between practice and race conditions, has created the chaos we've seen with the tire fall off last fall and then spring of 2024, while the other two races, fall of 2024 and spring of 2025, were nothing burgers with no fall off, hardly any passing. So it's been pretty crazy. And because of that, Bristol's been a really tough track for me with the NASCAR Cup Series in particular. It's been tough for me in all three series. Like, I'm not going to lie. I think I said that on my live stream. I'm on a horrific cold slump, and now I'm heading to one of my worst tracks. Now, I did hit Christopher Bell here last fall. You could make an argument that should not have won. But what do we do here with favorites? What do we do here with someone like Ty Gibbs, who is knocking on the door, primed to get that first win at what has been his best racetrack in terms of long run performance by far, no question. You could argue maybe some of these road courses he's had some fantastic long runs, at Circuit of the Americas, at Mexico last year, but since he's been a Cup guy, since he's been a Cup driver, Bristol is the one on the calendar that he arguably performs better at than anywhere else. So what do you do with 8-1 now? I still am sitting here right in front of you and I have not decided. I think I'm going to bet it because I'm going to feel real stupid if he comes out and he gets the pole in qualifying and now he's 5-1 or 6-1, which I could definitely see happening. He's already taken a ton of money on the books. So I think I am going to bet on Ty Gibbs. You can still get a plus money top 5 as well. That line has shifted along with the outright. And I think I am going to bet on Carson Hocevar for an outright. I think Hocevar, with how tumultuous he is, the Hurricane, I don't like where his positional props are. I feel like this has kind of been the nature of the 2026 NASCAR Cup season. His positional props too expensive for how volatile he is at getting finishes still. So Hocevar could be a situation, take the outright, take the top 3, maybe take the top Chevy, which is around 10-1, 15-1 range from what I've seen, and then we move on. So 2 guys that I do like. I want to get that out of the way. I do like Ty Gibbs, outright, top 5, and to win the pole, and I like Hocevar, outright, top 3. See how that shakes out. If you subscribe on Dub Club, the Dale Club, you will see if probably more like when I bet these. So by the time this episode loads, I'll have some ads to all 3 NASCAR National Series in terms of what I'm going to bet. So let's get right into it. Truck Night in America Friday night. You're going to have another tight window here from qualifying to green flag. Books did a pretty good job last week. I'm not going to lie. Books did a pretty good job last week of getting odds up pretty early after qualifying ended. That is a major change versus what we've seen most of the season and most of 2025. Let's hope that happens again. I know there's a lot going on. You have MLB baseball in full swing, NBA's still going on, NHL's going on. Those 2 leagues and their playoff stretch, or about to get to the playoffs or the play-ins, whatever the fuck they do, and then the Masters, of course. So we'll see. But it is a tight window from practice to qualifying from practice in qualifying to the green flag on Friday night for the Craftsman Truck Series race. So you could see some books load up super late, like 20, 30 minutes before green flag. And there's a lot of Cup guys in the field. We've been chatting about it in the Discord. It is a tough, it could go any particular direction. You've got Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe. You got Corey Heim trying to win a $350,000 bonus with the Triple Truck Challenge. You've got Kyle Busch. You've got Ross Chastain. You've got Daniel Suarez in a Spire truck. You've got Carson Hocevar in a Spire truck. You've got Ricky Stenhouse in a niche truck. And then all your typical truckers who are, Lane Riggs, Kaden Honeycutt, who are capable of winning. Chandler Smith won here last year. Ty Majeski's good at the short tracks and has had speed in 2026. So trucks is going to be the toughest one to cap. I think even with Cup's tire situation, I think trucks are going to be the toughest. So I want to throw that out there as well. Programming alert. It's going to be a tight squeeze heading into Truck Night in America tonight. Let's start with our top 10 plays. Brent Cruz, going to keep this simple. He ran the ARCA race here last year, led every fucking lap, dominated and won the race. He should have won last week. This number 19 car with Eric Almirola won last fall. Let's just keep it simple. Let's go right back to it. Kyle Larson is in the O'Reilly race. I know, he's even money, minus 120 on most books. He's probably going to win it. That's fine. But we have several guys that you're going to see here that are fringe 2-1 for top 5 plays that I know maybe bookmakers are just looking at the end result, right? You look at the end result of how Brent Cruz 2026 season has gone, it's been pretty bad. Similar to Chase Briscoe and Cup. Tough start, but at most of these racetracks, they've got speed. And Brent Cruz should have won Rockingham last week. Credit to Billy Sandwich. Did not see that one coming. I got so much FOMO for people who did bet. on William Sawalich, aka Billy Sandwich. I've been on the Billy Sandwich multiple times in the past. Did not see it this past weekend. Big time win. I think Joe Gibbs Racing can go back-to-back. Brent Cruz is going to be a threat. If you're going to go all in on Kyle Larson, go ahead. At least give me a top 5 on Brent Cruz. He's shown enough speed. O'Reilly has been big time. Excuse me. Big time on long runs. Hard to pass. Fast cars on the long run and good pit crews matter big time in these Bristol races. Which is kind of crazy because O'Reilly is the most exciting NASCAR series that there is. But at Bristol, I mean, you go watch these past few races over the last couple years. There's a lot of people that will watch those races and say that they were extremely boring, which is good for bets, which is good for fast cars, fast drivers, and good pit crews. And I think Brent Cruz, no pun intended, is going to be one of those guys on Saturday afternoon. Love Brent Cruz. Another good opportunity with the pricing. I think Brent Cruz is going to be a factor. I think he's going to be a top 3 guy on Saturday afternoon in OGN, the O'Reilly Grand National Series. Staying with OGN. I can't believe we're at this point. I've talked a lot of shit about Corey Day, but we just cannot deny the progression that he has made in what is arguably the fastest car in the O'Reilly Series. Now, you go back at Rockingham last week where they led most of the race. This is a very, very typical kryptonite of young guys, not even just young guys, just in NASCAR racing. You lead all these laps early in the race. You don't adjust because you're constantly in clean air. And then you have one thing go wrong and you get back into traffic, and guess what? Now your car drives like a fucking Dodge Durango. That's what happened with Corey Day last week. You look at the box score, he finished 10th. They had one bad pit stop and it ruined his shot of winning. But let's get him back up on the board because I love Corey Day on Saturday. It would be a little ironic if Kyle Larson's protege, Corey Day, beats him at Bristol for his first win. I think Corey Day is going to win sooner rather than later. I've been pretty wrong about him, at least. I mean, I admitted a few weeks ago, once it was like, whoa, like, okay, he's legit. He's got speed, and he's getting better and better and better very quickly for a guy that's 20 years old. And as I said, arguably the fastest car in the O'Reilly Series is that number 17 Hendrick car. And I know the pit crew blew it for him last week at Rockingham. That pit crew has been very good most of the season. Again, fast cars, good pit crews, primed drivers. Corey Day's in this category. 20-1 outright, 18-1, 16-1. He's got a great draw for qualifying. I could see him putting on the pole again like he did in Rockingham. He's got experience at this racetrack as well. That's another important thing for Corey Day. It's not his first time coming here. So he's got laps. Dirt guys, typically good at Bristol. We see it all throughout NASCAR racing. Dirt guys perform here. That top lane up here against the wall, it's going to become the dominant lane. And I think that benefits a guy like Corey Day in a great race car that we expect to be dialed in, handling well. Corey Day for a top 5, similar to Brent Cruz. Love the price opportunity there. And I think if there's a guy that could potentially compete with Kyle Larson, especially if Kyle Larson makes a mistake, Corey Day is your guy. I would not be shocked if he wins his first race this weekend at Bristol in the O'Reilly Grand National Series. Big contrast, right? Because I used to talk so much shit. This is so random. I can't believe we drew 3 straight O'Reilly plays, but Sam Mayer's in the same conversation. Really like the price. He's done this weird juju where he shaved his head. He's got the hairline of an Austin Cindric, which kind of creeps me out. With all due respect, I kind of like the idea of changing it up because they've had so much bad luck with these weird gremlins. If there is a place for Sam Mayer to turn it around, it's going to be Rockingham. It's going to be Bristol. This is where he won his first ever NASCAR National Series race in a big upset back in the Truck Series back in 2020, I think, or 2019, which kickstarted his career. He's been an O'Reilly lifer ever since. And he's a great short track racer. We've seen some of his best performances come at the short tracks. If there's a time Sam Mayer gets it right, it's going to be Bristol. I love his top 5 line plus 260 hanging in there on Caesar Sportsbook. We've seen some movement on some other books getting below 2-1. The outright as well, 16 to 1, 18 to 1, 20 to 1 range. Fantastic. Love that. I think Sam Mayer and Corey Day are both candidates for a ladder concept. Bet a lot on the top 5, bet a little less on the top 3, and then bet a little on the outright. Love it. I think they're both race-winning candidates on Saturday evening. So love Sam Mayer. I think he's due for a big rebound. Coming up next, Ryan Preece for a top 10 and a top 5 plus 650. I got to throw in here too. I have already bet. If you subscribe on Dub Club, you've seen that I bet the 50 to 1 outright and his top forward at 12 to 1, I think is what I got. I haven't bet these yet, but I'm leaning towards going to go ahead and do it and just simplifying here. Ryan Preece did the tire test last fall. He ran a cajillion laps. He really liked the tire, or he said, we're moving in the right direction. He seemed like he really liked the tire. This has to be an advantage. With all the tire fucking weirdness we've seen here at Bristol, if you got to run the tire test, it's got to be an advantage. It's got to be some kind of advantage. Ryan Preece has some decent momentum. Ever since he won the Clash, it's been a little kind of on the mediocre side versus where we thought he might be at this point early in the season, but 4 straight finishes of 13th or better. I think he's going to get a little bit better here at Bristol with that advantage in his back pocket, running the tire test. 2 to 1 top 10, I think, is a good line to get pre-practice, pre-qualifying. He's got a pretty good draw later in the session. I'd be surprised if this got any longer unless he just had a disaster in practice and qualifying. And I would be inclined to believe that because they have intel from this tire that no one else has except 2 other drivers who ran this test, they're going to unload with pretty good speed. I think Ryan Preece with the enhanced horsepower as well. Reminder, one thing I didn't go over, along with this tire combination, a new tire hitting the track this weekend, we have enhanced horsepower. The cars are going to be faster. So I think if we get tire wear, Ryan Preece is going to have a great day. I think if we don't get tire wear, Ryan Preece is going to have a good day. I feel like Ryan Preece is a fantastic foundational play heading into practice and qualifying, especially with that top 10. Top 5, I know 8 to 1 was available earlier in the week. It has shifted a little bit. I still like 6 to 1 or better for Ryan Preece heading into practice and qualifying. Next up, talked about this last week. Until he hits big for us, I'm gonna keep up this narrative of, if you want to get depressed, bet on Ty Majeski. If you feel like getting depressed, if you're having too good of a day and you're like, you know what, this is too good to be true, I need some depression in my life, pull the phone out, go to your local casino, bet on Ty Majeski. It is the most depressive move you can make. However, if he wants to reverse this narrative with a great run at Bristol, I'd be all about it, because I have already bet his outright. I actually bet 20 to 1 before all the other books loaded, because Caesars dropped lines before everybody else, and I really liked the board. And I took Ty Majeski 20 to 1. I really didn't think anybody would load up longer than that. And DraftKings has 22 to 1. Plus 250 top 5, I think is a solid bet as well. He goes out real late in qualifying. I think he qualifies on the front row. Worst case scenario, he qualifies top 4. I think Ty Majeski could be one of the truck ringers that plays upset. He's always got a good truck here. He's a short track ace. He's had a lot of bad luck. He blew an engine here a couple years ago. He crashed in this race last year. But if they don't have issues or bad luck, I think he's a top 5 guy. So if you're looking for somebody outside of these Cup guys, maybe even outside of the traditional Riggs, Honeycutt, Heim, Dominator guys, Ty Majeski could be primed to kind of sneak into the conversation tonight. So I like where his prices are at. Not worth a hammer. Maybe a couple, 2.5 units total between his outright and his top 5-ish, 2.5 to 3 units. If you want to go a little bit heavier on the top 5, fine, whatever. A lot of opportunities out there for trucks. I think Ty Majeski's a good start if you're looking for somebody outside of the heavy favorites. Let's not get depressed again, please. Next up, Carson Hocevar. Read carefully. This is for trucks. I've already told you I like him for Cup. I like him for trucks too, at least with his outright price. He goes out way too early in qualifying. He's not going to qualify well. So I'm going to wait on the positionals. see if I can get like a 2-to-1 top 5. I feel like the books will be stubborn. I would be shocked if Spire laid an egg 2 weeks in a row. They sucked at Rockingham last year, and they sucked at Rockingham this year. I don't think with Carson Hocevar and Kyle Busch that's going to happen this weekend at Bristol. I think they're both going to be factors. I think Hocevar and this team maybe could get creative, use a little bit of strategy to get some track position. He's been so good here in Cup. I think Hocevar is a threat to win this race, and you're going to give us 14-1. Same thing with Ty Majeski. I actually bet 12-1, thinking no one would go longer than that, and they did. So that line, I believe, is on DraftKings. I'll double check that for you real fast. Carson Hocevar. Okay. 8-1 on DraftKings. It was not DraftKings. Hang on. It could have been, but it could have moved. I know I saw 14-1 because I wrote it down at like 4 a.m. this morning. This could have all moved recently. I'm seeing 9-1, 8-1 everywhere. Trucks. 9-1 again. Holy. See, I don't want to put prices up that aren't available, so that's my bad. Well, we have seen some movement from the time that I made all my graphics to the time of recording. I don't know if I want to bet Hocevar 9-1 because, like I said, he has a bad draw in qualifying. He has a bad draw in qualifying, so I could see him getting a little bit longer on the outright. All right, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and call our shot. You're going to see 14-1 after qualifying. How about that? That's what we are predicting, that you will have an opportunity to get a 14-1 line of Carson Hocevar because he goes out really early because the 77 was junk at Rockingham. And you're going to see 14-1. I think they're going to be good in practice, though. So this line has changed from the time that I made the graphic, so bear with me. But yeah, I like Hocevar. We're just going to keep it simple there and move on. RFK in the NASCAR Cup Series. I put Keselowski's number here. I have bet Keselowski's outright. I have bet Buescher's outright. I have bet Preece's outright. And I have bet all 3 of these drivers for top Ford. Best pricing available was, last time I checked, on FanDuel Sportsbook. Keselowski at plus 550, Buescher at plus 750, and Preece at 12-1. I got a little bit better on Keselowski and Buescher, and I think that's the exact price I got on Preece. So if you want to bet this before practice and qualifying, I love it. Again, Penske is very beatable here at Bristol. You know, Blaney and Logano were pretty good here last fall, partially because of their ability to manage their tires, while the Gibbs cars were lightning fast but blew their shit out a little bit too early in the run, especially when it mattered later in the race. But I think tire wear, no tire wear, I really like that Keselowski's team has the intel from the tire test that other teams don't have. So you want to sprinkle their outright so you can get 20-1 or better on all 3 of them. But I really like the top Ford plays heading into the weekend. I think they're going to practice well. I think they're going to qualify well. And I think all 3 of them are going to run around the top 10, maybe top 5, and maybe even contend for the win. Not to mention, Buescher's won here in the Gen 7 era. Keselowski's been very good here. Should have won here last fall. The issue is, we've already talked about Ryan Preece. I guess the issue you could say to combat this is when we have had races at Bristol where tires have not been a topic, RFK has been more on the mediocre side. No question about it. I think this time is different, though, because they got the intel from the tire test last fall. So I'm going to ride hard with that. Excuse me. Next up, Kaden Honeycutt. Going with the truck regular. I've been riding Honeycutt all year, as you guys have seen. He's paid off on some top 5 bets here on the program. And, man, knocking on the door. That's Kaden Honeycutt. This dude is knocking on the door in the truck series. He should have won Rockingham if he had made a... Tanner Gray fucked it up. But I think Kaden Honeycutt, before the white flag, had some other opportunities to maybe get past Corey Heim and what was a great finish at the Rock. But Honeycutt was good here at Bristol in Nice equipment. He was okay here in Friesen equipment. Now he's in arguably the best truck with the best crew chief. You can get plus money top 5 on Hard Rock Bet, even money on the dot. I even have, I would even take minus 106, which is available on Bally. Yeah, he's minus 145 top 5 on BetMGM, minus 120 top 5 on DraftKings. I don't mind minus 120. You know, that'd probably be the furthest I would go, but Hard Rock Bet has plus money for him for a top 5. Pit crew's been great all year. Truck is fantastic. Driver's fantastic. I think he is the true spoiler tonight of Heim and the Cup guys, if there is a spoiler. So 7-1 for the best truck in the field, plus money top 5 for the best truck in the field with the best crew chief and a great pit crew. I'm all about it. Kaden Honeycutt's going to go to victory lane eventually, and it could happen on Friday night. Oh, that's Kaden Honeycutt again. Hang on. Who's next? Oh shit, they're stuck behind them. Hang on. You know what? We're gonna have to wait. I don't know which one it is. Remember, I always randomize these, so. Nope, got it. Okay. Chase Briscoe, who is running the truck race, was a late ad on the entry list. But this is for Cup. You know, last fall is kind of whatever. They positioned themselves in a spot later in the race where you kind of looked up and you're like, shit, Chase Briscoe might win this race. They were really hot in the playoffs too. I think they ended up finishing like 8th or 9th based on that crazy final cycle. You can almost look at it as an anomaly, but they were really good here in the spring as well. So I like Briscoe this weekend because they were good here in the spring when tires did not matter, and they put themselves in a good spot. They had a good car for sure last fall as well, even with the tire degradation extremities that we saw in the Bristol night race. So I like Chase Briscoe. That price, let me pull that up again. Should click the right button. Yep. Like that price, top 5, 2-1 or better. I think he's a candidate to win the pole. We've seen some wacky qualifying here with that PJ1 layer being added. Some guys that go out early put down heaters, and then guys that go out late don't even come close. So I like Chase Briscoe for qualifying to throw in as an extra, but I like his outright price. It was 18-1. Now I'm seeing 16-1. That's fine. I think he's going to be good in practice, good in qualifying, and I think that price will come down a little bit. Joe Gibbs Racing in general has been fantastic here. They have been lights out at Bristol in the Cup Series. I think even with the horsepower increase on a different tire, you'll still see JGR get to the front early and often. So I love Chase Briscoe. Been a tough year, but again, most of these tracks, they've had speed. I know they were pretty bad at Martinsville a couple weeks ago, but that's kind of the outlier. If they can just get out of their own way, Briscoe's going to be a winning factor. He's going to win races in 2026 if they just don't make mistakes. They've got the equipment. They've got a good enough 2025 season as like their foundation. They should be better in 2026 and 2025. So I'm waiting for the breakout to happen. I think Chase Briscoe could jumpstart it this weekend at Bristol. So I like the pricing. Did good enough last year to warrant betting at these particular prices in multiple areas. Next up, back to Truck Night in America. Fine, I'll do it. I'm going to be betting on Corey Heim. Just to see plus 350 with what's on the line tonight. Big money on the line for Corey Heim. You think he's going to come out here and shit the bed? Absolutely not. Seeing a plus money top 3 available is pretty crazy. That's on BetMGM. I want to make sure it's still there. Still there. Plus money top 3 when BetMGM reloaded sometime late last night. With that plus 350 outright, both on BetMGM. They're both going to move as soon as I post them. Just fair warning. Actually, plus 370 on FanDuel. I did not even see that until now. I just started scanning again. So plus 370 on FanDuel outright for Corey Heim to win 3 races in a row and win the Triple Truck Challenge or whatever the hell it's called, to win a $300,000 bonus. He's just so clutch, man. And I know he almost gave up that race at Rockingham, but overall, you know, he proved that one truck can be a rocket when the right driver's behind it. And another point too, even with other drivers that have been behind the wheel of that truck, that pit crew has been awesome. That pit crew has been very good in 2026, and we saw that last weekend at Rockingham. So not a lot to be said. I think Tricon has been not as good at Bristol in the past, but you know, the FRM trucks were the class of the field at Rockingham last year, and that changed in 2026. It was apparent that the Tricon trucks were the class of the field at Rockingham. I would not be surprised 2 weeks in a row if the Tricon trucks patrol the top 5 all night long, especially with those two drivers, Corey Heim and Kaden Honeycutt. So, yep, I'm not going to miss out again if it happens. And I think if Corey Heim doesn't win, he is going to be a top 3 guy. He's just so good at not making mistakes. He's got so much pace. I mean, this guy is just unbelievable. His racecraft is off the charts. So they've got the full package with a different team in 2026 to win 3 in a row. You give me that price at 3.5 to 1 or plus 370, as we just found out, I'll take it. I think that's everybody. Did we go over everyone? Yeah. That's it. That's your top 10. That was pretty quick. Feels good to have most of my voice back. I'm still a little runny from that RSV shit that I've been trying to get over. If you watch, I know the viewership was down for Rockingham, but just go back to the Rockingham YouTube video and listen to me talk for like 30 seconds, and you're gonna be like, holy shit. But yeah, there's your top 10. We went through it pretty quickly. Nice and efficient. If you want to tail the bets with specific unit allocations, subscribe to dubclub.win. Here is your recap that I discussed earlier. NASCAR betting Armageddon. I'm officially retired from Craftsman Truck Series competition in terms of bets. I'm unlucky as shit in O'Reilly. And we're decent in Cup over the last month. This is where we're at. You can do the math on our results in 2026. I will be betting on qualifying this weekend. I kind of gave you a sneak peek. I've got a great idea, I think, in terms of hitting the pole winner for the first time since Phoenix. But there are your stats as we get ready to do our parlay segment here on Dale Center NASCAR betting. Let me get that up. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. Here we are on DraftKings Sportsbook. And man, I'm debating actually placing some money on the round robin that we always do on here. You know, typically I give the round robin as a recommendation. I've done 2 parlays this year, hit a big one at Las Vegas, and the other one, I don't remember where we did one at, like St. Pete, and maybe it was a road course deal. It lost like 0.1 unit. But I know the round robins have had some moments in 2026. A couple guys in the Discord have pointed out how efficient a couple of them have been. I might throw a big one together because I was playing around and I really, really liked what I put together on the DraftKings app. So I'm going to copy exactly what, it's a big one. So I got to make sure I get it right because some of these guys are pretty enticing to bet for a top 3, maybe. But it may be a safer play to throw them in as top 5. So we are looking at trucks, and we are going to start with the guy that I have not talked about, Kyle fucking Busch. The reason why I didn't talk about Kyle Busch, I did mention Spire. I think Spire is going to be good tonight. I already bet Kyle Busch outright at plus 650. I cannot believe that was a real line. That is what Caesars started out with. All sorts of books had 6 to 1 or 5.5 to 1. BetMGM, The Score, and Caesars, where I bet, all had at least plus 550 or better when they loaded. I had to bet it. I took it. We're in on Kyle Busch. I've seen even some books have minus 110, minus 120 for a top 5. A lot of that has been hammered. There's a lot of money on KFB tonight. I think he's going to go to victory lane. I'll tell you that right now. There's a lot of great candidates to win this race. I don't particularly love the idea of betting plus 330. If I'm going to go ahead and bet Corey Heim, that's where the CLV comes in. Because I got Kyle Busch at such a good price, I can go ahead and take the favorite, you know, and feel pretty good about it. So plus 330, I'm not sure if I would take, I'll be honest. But shit, 6 to 1, love that. So congratulations if you got in on that with us. Hopefully it will pay off. So we're going to start with Kyle Busch as your race winner. Corey Heim for your top 3. If there's a guy that's going to come out and prevent Corey Heim from winning the big money, it's going to be Kyle fucking Busch. We talked about this guy earlier. We're going to go Ty Majeski for a top 5. A guy that I did not talk about for trucks. I could play spoiler. I really fucking hate him because he did not cash for us at Darlington when I thought he was going to have an elite truck. He had a truck that was horrific. But Bristol's a very different track. Christopher Bell's had excellent success here in all 3 NASCAR National Series, so we'll throw him in for a top 5. So Christopher Bell top 5, Majeski top 5, Busch winner, Heim top 3, and Kaden Honeycutt top 5 at -120. So yes, we're starting out here trying to predict the exact top 5 in Truck Night in America. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Remember, we're doing a round robin here, so you don't have to hit everything. Now, this is going to be a big round robin, so you're going to have to put a fuck ton on it. Maybe not a fuck ton, but a good bit of change if you actually did tail this. Next up, Sam Mayer top 5. This has seen some line movement. This was 2-1 territory a few hours ago. So Sam Mayer has moved a little bit here. I think that Caesar's line is still available at +260, but we'll put Sam Mayer in here because I love him on Saturday afternoon. Then we're going to take Brent Cruz. This is where I'm debating the top 3. I'm just going to feel like a dummy if I take him for the top 3 and the leg loses because he finishes 4th. So let's just take the top 5. Maybe you'll take the top 3. Maybe you're feeling a little more spicier than I am. But regardless, I love Brent Cruz enough where you could both top 3 or top 5 have validation to bet here. And then Corey Day, man, Corey Day is going to be a top 3 guy on Saturday afternoon. There's no doubt in my mind. So 3 guys for O'Reilly. I believe that's it. Yep. Now we're going to move on to Cup. Now for Cup, we are going to take Ty Gibbs. Another guy I really want to take for a top 3, but again, I'm going to feel like a big dummy if he finishes 4th. We'll take Ty Gibbs for a top 5. We will take Ryan Preece. Wait. Yes. We will take Ryan Preece for a top 10 at +145. Terrible line. Hate that. But for a parlay, that's fine. Whatever. And then we're going to take Chase Briscoe for a top 5. I already talked about that. +210. That line is still there. And then we're going to come back. Is that all of them? That's 11. I'm missing somebody here. Who am I missing? Oh. I'm big on JGR. Being very good. Oh. We're going to take Denny Hamlin. And there it is, folks. A behemoth, degenerate, slapdick, round-robin parlay. Kyle Busch to win the truck race. Corey Heim for top 3. Majeski, Bell, and Honeycutt for top 5. And OGN, O'Reilly, Mayer for top 5. Cruz for top 5. Corey Day for top 3. In Cup, Ty Gibbs for top 5. Preece for top 10. Briscoe for top 5. And Denny Hamlin for a top 3. Holy shit, look at that. And what I typed out that I did here, some DraftKings minimum bet, which is what I like about this, is 10 cents. So you could put 10 cents on all this. And you can, you could still see how it piles up quickly. If you're logged in here, you would see it. 10 cents per parlay. All the way from, I did 3s all the way to 10s. Your payout would be about $1 million if all 12 legs hit. Probably not going to happen. But if you hit about, I think if you hit 8, you would profit. I think if you hit 7, you're probably going to profit. Now, it depends on which legs, right? Because some of these legs are more expensive than the others. This is not financial advice, by the way. I cannot stress enough. If I'm supremely confident, I'm going to bet this myself, probably for these exact increments. I'll have to go make a drive over the state border to do it. That's okay. So, again, for the parlay folks out there, just an option. Hell, if you want to make it a 13-leg parlay and throw in some fucking golfer, fucking Tiger Woods to win the Masters, I know he's not playing. Throw him in there too. I don't care. Make it a 13-legger. So, I think if you hit 7 of these, you're probably going to at least break even. And I like all 12 of these plays a lot. I mean, I think Corey Heim, top 3. Come on. Majeski, top 5. Makes me a little depressed thinking about how he's going to finish P6. Christopher Bell, top 5. A little worried maybe about the truck, but different track. He's got a race under his belt with the freezing team. His truck should be better than it was at Darlington. Kaden Honeycutt, top 5. Slam dunk. Sam Ayer, top 5. And O'Reilly, if they don't grenade it, slam dunk. Brent Cruz, top 5. Slam dunk. Corey Day, top 3. Primed to win. We'll settle with 3rd. Ty Gibbs, top 5, primed to win. We'll settle with plus money. Ryan Preece, top 10. For the 8 billionth time, did the tire test. Top 5, Chase Briscoe. Maybe debatable here. He could run 7th, but I think Briscoe's a sneaky dark horse to win, so we'll throw that there. And Denny Hamlin, top 3, plus 150. That's a slam dunk. I just made a quick argument that all 12 legs are going to hit here, and you're going to be a millionaire. You're welcome. All right, ear fuck coming. Here it is. It's a nostalgic ear fuck though, so you're welcome. Appreciate you guys for tuning in here to Dale Center NASCAR betting. Again, I will have qualifying bets. I'm gonna drop those on Saturday morning probably. And then I will have updates by the time you see Dale Center, by the time you see this episode drop here on YouTube, you're going to see updates on my betting card via dubclub.win. A partner with Dub Club for 2026, again, to win. We have not done that recently, and hopefully this is the turning point where we shift it back into high gear in the profitability side of NASCAR betting, because we have been in the red for the past month or so. So thank you guys again for sticking with me here. Thank you guys for tuning in to Dale Center NASCAR betting. If it helped you win some money, please like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think about my bets in the comments. Let me know what you're betting on in the comments. Let's chat it up. I'll be looking, I'll be reading them, and I'll be watching these races. I'll probably do a watch party, 2 watch parties maybe this weekend. I plan on doing a big thing. I call it a Dale-a-thon. It's a subathon, Dale-a-thon special. We do giveaways while we race on iRacing, and we'll include some watch parties with at least 2 of the Bristol races this weekend. I think I'll do a watch party for Truck Night in America and then a watch party for Cup. Hell, I might do all 3. We'll see. So thank you guys. Check out everything at Dale Tanhart. All the links to everything I've talked about are in the description below. And again, thanks for watching. Good luck. And I hope we can conquer the last great Coliseum this weekend.